Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This is HD Signatures. How you guys doing? So today's makeup tutorial is going to be a detailed cut crease on a client, and this is going to be a makeup transformation on a client. By the way guys, this client is my younger sister. She's the popular Amber Photography. Yes guys, I'm sure you guys have heard me mention her name a couple of times on my channel. So this is Amber Photography. She's the one behind all those fantastic picture. She takes good picture, and she's going to be joining us on YouTube very soon guys. So we are going to start with a crease. I had already applied a primer. I used Maybelline Master Conceal primer. I use that primer a lot because of the tacky effect it gives me. It doesn't like super dry, but it has this very nice tacky effect that whatever you place on it is not going anywhere. So I'm using my favorite brush to put that into our crease area. So I asked her to open up her eyes just for me to see where she have her crease. She has her crease where it should be, you know, like hooded eyes that your crease are not where it's supposed to be. She has her own crease line where it's supposed to be. So I placed those matte color in her crease area, and I'm using my favorite brush again to blend out the edges of those eyeshadows. You guys already know these brushes. They are my go-to brushes when it comes to detailing, when it comes to blending out lines and all that. And guys, I would like to say, when you're working with any colors, you have to be, you have to take your time to blend out. If you want a good finished look, eye look, you want to make sure you blend out. I mean, what we put on screen, what we show you guys, is not actually what happened while we are doing it. We take a whole lot of time to actually get all this right. It takes us hours and hours to get all this makeup done, but we basically just show you guys 10 or 7 minutes of it just so we don't keep you guys bored. But you have to put in more effort, blend well, blend like your life depends on it guys. That's when you have this very nice seamless look. So I'm going to be going ahead to cut a crease, and I'm also using that same concealer from Maybelline Master Conceal. I hope they still have this concealer, because once I run out of this, I'm just going to go look for it. So I'm using this to carefully carve out the part I want to cut, but I'm not directly going into where a crease is. I'm trying to carve out first, then I will go carefully to where a crease is. So, and I'm using the concealer I'm using is deep shade. That's the shade, is deep. So I'm also using my favorite brush. I'm using that to cut a crease. And when you're cutting your crease, there's no magic about it guys. You have to practice. You have to keep practicing for you to be able to get it right. So as I'm cutting a crease, I'll ask her to open up her eye, just so I don't want to go above where a crease is. So that is what I'm doing there basically. So guys, this is how the crease is looking. We are still on the crease. We want things to look very, very nice and really smooth. So on a norm, if I'm going to be doing this, I would have skipped it, but because I want this tutorial to be as detailed as possible, that's why I'm showing you guys this process. I hope you guys are not getting bored already. So, but please just bear with me. I really want you guys to get how I do this, or let me know if you still want me to go into detail on how to cut the crease, and I'll film a tutorial for that. So guys, I'm using a Real Technique brush, and I'm using that to pat this concealer down onto a lid. The reason why I'm doing this is because the concealer is a bit creamy, so I'm using that brush to pat it down to give me that almost matte finishing. That way when you apply your eyeshadow on it, it won't be blotchy or it won't have any streak line. But if you apply your concealer and you go ahead and put your eyeshadow on it, especially when you're working with a matte eyeshadow, is going to look blotchy. If you are working with a shimmery eyeshadow, you can get away with that, but with a matte eyeshadow you want to be very careful. You want to pat it down. That's why I like that concealer, because when you keep pressing it, keep patting it, it gives you this very almost semi matte finishing. So guys, for the glitter liner, I'm going to be applying 2 metallic loose pigment eyeshadow and 1 loose glitters, and this brush I'm using is just the perfect brush for me, guys. It's an angled, very detailed flat brush. It doesn't have a name. It was sent to me from one of my fans, you know, guys. So I don't really know what the brand is, but this brush is MVP, guys, if I can say that. So after applying that, I'm going to be using a brush to just dust off any where I have those glitters dropped on. I'm going to be going into my pen liner. For now, guys, this is my ride or die pen liner, guys. You have to try this out, then you will know what I'm talking about. So I'm using this. By the way, this pen liner is from Royal Beauty, and I'm using that to line our eyes. So I'm going to be going ahead to fix our lashes. This place, guys, I'm carrying my baby on the other hand, and I'm using this part of my hand to fix her lashes, because auntie will not agree to stay with her brother, so I had to carry her. And like I usually do, I always go back to touch up the areas after blending, just so we have things. Like I told you guys, I like to put in the work while I'm doing this, so that when I take the picture, I don't have to keep going to add colors, you know, to edit the eye area. I don't really like that. So I like to, you know, take upon myself the stress of going back again to make sure everything looks really nice. So I went ahead to apply a moisturizer on her skin. I used a primer, and now I'm using black copper stick foundation. I deposited this foundation into that pan you're seeing. So if you are interested in the video, I'm going to be leaving the link on the screen. So I'm using my elf blending brush. That's like a buffing brush. I'm using that to apply the foundation onto her skin. I just want that to give me like a form of foundation on her skin, just to put that down first, because it's creamy and it's not matte. So I want that very hydrating and luminous foundation like on her skin. I don't want her to look all dried out. Then I'm going ahead to use a Flawless Ivy foundation in Ebony. That foundation is very matte and it's thick. So because that's what I wanted to use initially, but I had to use that black copper first, because that has some form of a glowy finishing to it. So it's just going to make everything well balanced. So now I am going to, you know, be doing some sculpting to her nose. I used LA Girl Pro Conceal in the front on the bridge of her nose and under her eyes. I mixed it a bit with her foundation just so it doesn't come out too bright. And I'm going to be using my beauty blender to, you know, marry everything into her skin, because we don't want any harsh lines or whatsoever on her skin. So I'm going to be going into this very beautiful, nice palette from Royal Makeup powder palette, and I'm going to be taking the darkest shade of their powder and a little bit lighter than her skin of the powder to, you know, blend the under part of her eyes, and the darkest one to contour the side of her nose. And I'm going to extend that to the brows, just so we have everything looking uniform. We don't want any form of harsh line. So that same powder that I use, that's the darkest powder in that palette that I use in contouring her nose, I'm also going to be using that the cheekbone area, that's to carve out a cheekbone. Guys, you can see how dark this powder is, because this client I'm working on, she's a very dark skin. If it's not coming across on the screen because of the light and all that, but she's a very dark skin person. So I'm just going to be sculpting out the perimeters of her face by going down to the jawline of her face. So I'm going to be going back into my bronzer. So now this is there's a difference between a bronzer and a contour product. A contour product should be where the hollow of your cheek is, then your bronzer should go on top of your cheekbone, like blending your highlights and your contour together. If you want a more detailed tutorial on that, let me know in the comment section, guys. So I'm going to be going into my beauty blender, the one I use in blending out everything and a foundation. I'm going to use that to blend that bronzer into our skin. So I went under her eyes, you know, to do some touch up, and also I'm going to be applying this beautiful orange blush. I'm going to be putting that on her cheek, and I'll be going back to blend everything out and apply a cheek bronzer, like a glow on her cheekbone. This bronzer is from Milani and it is called all over bronzing powder, so you can use it all over your skin, your face and all that. So I'm going to be going to her lips, just going to be doing something natural, not too, you know, bright, because the eyes is doing the speaking already. And this is the finished look, guys. And the pictures you're going to be seeing next are basically the pictures I took with my phone and I edited, because Amber Photography put me through some little editing. Guys, watch out for Amber Photography's YouTube channel. Thank you so much, guys.